What golden nugget of information do you have to share? Foreign garments to be labeled made in USA, the process only needs to be started and finished in America. In the case of a certain lady's underwear line, the material is cut in USA, shipped overseas for assembly, then shipped back to America where a seamstress sews a made in USA tag on the item. Source: underwear factory worker. There are about 60,000 characters in the Mandarin language. A very literate person will know 20,000. The average person from 5,000 to 10,000. If uneducated, around 3,000. Speaking of golden nuggets of information to share, goldfish lose their color if they are kept in dim light or are placed in a body of running water, such as a stream. A scorpion can hold its breath for 6 days, so don't think drowning it will help you out of your scorpion problem. A moose can run 40 miles per hour through 6-foot deep snow. The first president of Zimbabwe was President Banana. Semen washes off best with cool water. Using hot water can cause the proteins to denature and makes it stickier. All colors of Fruit Loops have the same flavor. If you see a job you really want but aren't quite qualified for, apply anyway. Don't tell yourself no. Make them tell you no. You might be pleasantly surprised. Both my son and daughter followed this advice and got a job that turned into a career. Gary Newman is 13 days older than Gary Oldman. Artillery was responsible for over 70% of combat casualties in both world wars. Airline ops guy here. If you check in a bag at an airport with an hour or less before departure, it has a 50/50 shot of making it on the plane. Just like that cell line, bag security can back up too. I regularly see 30+ minute in screening statuses on bags. Then, it may be pulled for a hand screening and search. This is random and SAR doesn't care when the flight leaves. So now we're at about 25 minutes to departure and your bag has only just now entered the sort system. It will take another 5-10 minutes to sort out to the person who loads carts with bags. Here, the problem is that there may be 7-10 other flights coming off of the same conveyor belt. They have to see your bag's tag out of maybe 50 other bags. So let's assume another 5 minutes. Your flight's bag cart was delivered plainside at an hour before departure. It is now 15 minutes to departure. The bag room has seen your bag and has it on the back of a tug racing to the plane. 7 minutes before departure, the baggage compartments are closed and total weights are being submitted. Your bag has missed the airplane. TLDR, please check in more than an hour before your flight if checking a bag, or else it might not make it on the plane. Each one of the Yamato class battleship's main gun turrets weighed over 3,000 tons, heavier than the average US destroyer. If you were on a destroyer in the US Navy during World War II, you ran the risk of having to fight a ship whose primary weapons alone displaced more weight than your entire vessel. Horses have a massive blind spot on the front and back of their body. If you are ever around a tame horse, keep a hand on their body while walking around them. This lets it know where you are at all times and decreases chances of kicking out of shock or fear. This also prevents them from kicking you with as much force. You need to stay very close to them for the full benefit. This is similar with goats, as they instinctively fight things coming head on and should be approached from the sides. Also, ears are the gateway to a horse's feelings. Pinned back ears indicates an anxious or angered horse. Pinned straight up indicates curiosity and focus. A 30-minute walk every day decreases the percent of you getting dementia. On the timeline of human history, the ancient Egyptians lived as close to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans lived to us today. Caterpillars are physically unable to burp. If you carry a baseball bat in your vehicle for self-defense, also carry a baseball glove. Even if you don't play baseball, your lawyer will appreciate it. If your older parents' grandparents are suddenly acting strange, get them checked for a UT. In older people, UTs can cause a psychotic or delusional episode. The Outer Bridge Crossing is a bridge that connects Staten Island, NY to Perth Amboy, NJ. You probably think it was named that because it's the outermost bridge in New York City. Wrong, it's named after Eugenius Harvey Outer Bridge. If you ever have a baseball bat and need to use it as a weapon, put a sock over it so if someone tries to disarm you they just slide off the sock. Even though you have a VPN, it doesn't necessarily keep you hidden if skilled people wanted to find you. There are many things that can leak your IP that you have to isolate and fix, such as IPv6 leaks, DNS leaks, and WebRTC leaks. Also, every add-on you add to your browser, it gives you a unique fingerprint that can lead back to you. You're not as secure as you think. Getting older is ducking awesome. 53M. I feel confident, secure and healthier than I ever have in my entire life. I wish I could tell my 28 years old self to relax and enjoy the ride more. Jimmy Carter has been alive for so long that his lifespan overlaps with the lifespan of someone who was alive at the same time as Thomas Jefferson. There are 3 ways to refer to a gathering of geese. 1. If they're on the ground, it's a gaggle. 2. If they're flying but not in a V-shaped formation, it's a skein. 3. If they're flying and in a V-shaped formation, it's a wedge. The odds of you finding a gold nugget in a day are 0.000000784% on average. Armadillos give birth to 4 identical twins always. If you're in the woods and smell cucumbers, there is a copperhead snake nest nearby. In the 16th century, Turkish women could initiate a divorce if their husbands didn't pour coffee for them. Control plus Shift plus ESC opens straight to the task manager instead of Control plus Alt plus Delete and then manually selecting task manager. The concept of 3 square meals a day is a diet designed for people working physical labor in the early 1900s. Quality of diet and sticking to daily calorie limits is the only part that really matters. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter what time you eat. Although the 3 square meals model is indeed advantageous for day-long maintenance of energy levels. Basically, it's better to just eat when you're hungry than force yourself to eat when you should, so long as you're getting the proper nutrients, etc. That a strong sense of doom is a medically recognized and majority common precursor to having a heart attack. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes and they grow out of the ground like potatoes. Nuts and drupes typically grow on trees and or other seeds of fruits. You can be allergic to tree nuts and not be to peanuts and vice versa. Kangaroo has 3 V's. X% of Y is the same as Y% of X. So if you are struggling to find 26% of 50, maybe 50% of 26, 13 is much easier to do quickly. Seasonal allergies are almost entirely man-made ailments. When planting landscaping trees and bushes in the 50s and 60s, people didn't want to use female trees as they didn't want fruit to fall on streets and on people's cars. So they opted for almost entirely male trees, thus drastically increasing the pollen output. Canadians say sorry so much that an act passed in 2009 states that an apology would not be considered admission to guilt. It's 100 times better to break up when you're in a relationship than trying to fix it up for the nth time. Never miss a chance to piss. Look people in the eye, say please and thank you. Salespeople will go out of their way for you if you show appreciation. Most people replace their computer or run them into the ground when they get hot and slow, and in reality new thermal compound and a solid state drive upgrade can fix both problems and increase its lifespan for about $35 to $50 and isn't incredibly hard to DIY in most cases. Iron can make your poop color turn black. The airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, European, is 11 ms or 24 miles per hour. I work front desk at a hotel. I've seen this before so I hope it's new to someone. Don't use sites like Expedia etc. If you book directly with the hotel you can always call to make changes. If you need to cancel you can avoid the 24-hour window fee by changing your reservation to a few days later. Then call back the next day to cancel. Third-party booking sites are not easy to change info. We cannot change the rate if something needs to be fixed, and you are looked down upon and get whatever basic rooms are available. Not by me personally but everyone around me. When Elton John changed his name from Reginald Dwight, he also gave himself a middle name. His full name is Elton Hercules John. 9 months before Rosa Parks refused to move to the back of the bus, 15-year-old called Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat. 2 police officers arrested her. Colvin says that civil rights leaders didn't think a teen especially one with a very dark complexion, would be a good poster child for their movement. Source for anyone interested. The writing staff for Futurama were probably the most highly educated group of writers a cartoon has ever had. Sometimes it's best to let go of people. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. La Tomatana is a festival held in Boal, Spain, where participants get involved in food fights only using tomatoes just for entertainment. This year it should have been on the 26th of August. Admit when you're wrong. Say it out loud to the person you were incorrect to, and don't let your pride stop you. The amount of respect you instantly gain is shocking, no matter how much you like the person. Never pour water into any acid because it will splash out acid at 600 plus kelvins, 300 degrees Celsius. If you have to mix water and acid, always put water first then acid. This is because the reaction of acid dissolution is exothermic, meaning it will create a big quantity of heat, thus the splashing. But if you put a drop of acid in water, the reaction won't heat enough to splash. At the beginning of every relationship, agree to assume positive intent. Talk about it often. Don't forget about it and make it the most important rule. Fights will be less. Empathy will be greater and your relationship will be stronger. If you don't have a toilet plunger and you've clogged it up, pour in a bit of dish soap and some hot water. The hotter the better. Let stand for 15 minutes and flush. Learned this when immediately upon arriving at our hotel. My 8-year-old clogged up our toilet and I googled. Found this gem. Realized I'd packed a tiny travel bottle of dish soap. Warmed water up in the microwave and lo and behold, it worked. I still use it sometimes at home when I don't want to be grossed out by plunging. Yes, my child has a tendency to clog toilets, so there ya go. When looking at renting a car, hotel room, etc., type in your company's name, discount code, vendor in Google, X, Wells Fargo Hertz discount code. You can get better rates on these items usually.